Okay, it's 12:30 right now. We shall begin. Good afternoon, Bante, members,
Afternoon, everyone.
devotees,
Yes.
and friends in the Dhamma. Let us begin the Vassāvāsa cultivation by paying homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi.
Buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi.
Dhammam saranam gacchāmi.
Dhammam saranam gacchāmi.
Sangham saranam gacchāmi.
Sangham saranam gacchāmi.
Yampi buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi dhammam saranam gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi dhammam saranam gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi sangham saranam gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi sangham saranam gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saranam gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi dhammam saranam gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi dhammam saranam gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi sangham saranam gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi sangham saranam gacchāmi.
Panātipātā vērmani sikkhapadam samādhiyāmi.
Panātipātā vērmani sikkhapadam samādhiyāmi.
Adinādāna vērmani sikkhapadam samādhiyāmi.
Adinādāna vērmani sikkhapadam samādhiyāmi.
Kāmesu miccācāra vērmani sikkhapadam samādhiyāmi.
Kāmesu miccācāra vērmani sikkhapadam samādhiyāmi.
Musāvāda vērmani sikkhapadam samādhiyāmi.
Musāvāda vērmani sikkhapadam samādhiyāmi.
Suramēraya madhyapamādattāna vērmani sikkhapadam samādhiyāmi.
Surameraya majapamadatana vērmani sikkhapadam samādhiyāmi. Sādhu, Sādhu, Sādhu. Dear brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, we are very blessed and honored to be able to formally invite Venerable Dr. R. Chandawimala Mahāthera to observe the 3 months Vassāvāsa retreat at Ti-Sarana Buddhist Association. Venerable Chandawimala is currently serving as an associate professor at the Buddhist College of Singapore at Kong Meng San Pokasi Monastery. His field of interest covers early Buddhism, Buddhist philosophy, and history of Buddhism. He will be delivering Dhamma talk every Sunday at this time from today till 17 October 2021. Today he will be delivering his Dhamma talk on the advice to Rahula at Ambalaṭṭhikāra. Venerable Sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, Brother Jeffrey,
You're welcome.
for your introduction. I welcome you all, dear participants, the friends in the Dhamma, with Zoom and also on Facebook. So today we are going to discuss about the Ambalaṭṭhikārāhulovāda Sutta as our third Dhamma talk in this series of Dhamma talk, the topic number 3. I hope that you can see it. Can you? Yes.
Yes, Bhante, we can.
Okay, very good. Then Namo Buddhaya again. So we respect to the Buddha, and then we start our Dhamma talk. Yes, as Brother Jeffrey also mentioned, actually today the topic for the Dhamma talk is the Ambalaṭṭhikārāhulovāda Sutta. Ambalaṭṭhikārāhulovāda Sutta. So this is a very special sutta delivered by the Buddha to Venerable Rahula. When we refer to the Theravada Sutta Pitaka, there are many suttas actually, not even several, many suttas delivered by the Buddha to his, the former son, when he was as Prince Siddhartha at home, and he had a son. So his name is Rahula, the Prince Rahula. And when the Buddha visited his native place, the city of Kapilavattu, after his attainment of the Buddhahood, there are a lot of things happen over there. First, Venerable Nanda, Buddha's, cousin and the half brother actually, he entered the Buddhist order. And after that, even Prince Rahula was ordained. He also entered the Buddhist order. So in this way, Buddha's very close relatives, actually his half brother and also his own son, both of them became monks. And later on, even his former wife, the Princess Yasodhara, and also Buddha's stepmother, Mahapajapati Gautami, and a lot of other Shakyan princes also entered the Buddhist order. And we know that a lot of other Shakyan princes also became the monks. So in this way, there was a huge contribution to the Sasana from the Shakyan family, from the relatives of the Buddha. So today we are going to discuss about one of the suttas delivered by the Buddha to his own son, Venerable Rahula. As I explained to you, actually there are many suttas delivered by the Buddha to his son. And Mahārahulovāda Sutta, Chulahulovāda Sutta, and also there is even one section of the Samyutta Nikāya containing many suttas delivered by the Buddha to his own son, Rahula. It is called Rahula Samyutta. If you refer to the Samyutta Nikāya, there is a special section containing suttas which were delivered by the Buddha to his own son Rahula. So Rahula Samyutta. So in this way, there are many suttas in the Sutta Pitaka related to Venerable Rahula. And when I refer to the commentary to this Ambalaṭṭhikārāhulovāda Sutta, it explains that actually Buddha delivered the suttas to Venerable Rahula in different times in his life, when he was young, and also in his, something like in his 20s, and also in the later time of Venerable, Rahula's life, maybe after he attained, after he received the full ordination. You know that Venerable Rahula, he was the first Samanera, or the younger, actually the youngest one to enter the Buddhist order as a Samanera. And so before that, there were no Samaneras, young ones. It's a long story. After Buddha visited his, palace, his own palace, where Sakyans were living, including Buddha's family and his former wife and his relatives and his son and all that. And at that time, after listening to the Buddha, everyone was happy, and it's a long story anyhow. And it is said that this Prince Rahula, he asked Buddha's heir to him, the royal heir, "Venerable Sir, please give me my heir, the things that, things that a father, gives to a son." And then Buddha, as a monk actually, as a Shramana, and he didn't have any material property, right? He left all the material property and he became monk. And then only he had the Dhamma as his heir to give him. So what the Buddha did, according to the story, actually Buddha took him to the temple, monastery, and gave this boy, the young one, to Venerable Sariputta to ordain him. And it is said that Venerable Sariputta ordained Prince Rahula together with the other monks. In this way, actually Venerable Sariputta became the teacher of Venerable Rahula. So in his life stories, actually it is said that early morning he wakes up and worship to the direction where Venerable Sariputta is living. And even in the night time before he goes to bed, and he check in which side that Venerable Sariputta is there, but in which part of the country, and he turns to that side and he respects. So in this way, the Venerable Rahula always respected Venerable Sariputta as his teacher. So anyhow, what I was explaining earlier, that in the different, ages of Venerable Rahula, the Buddha gave the talks to him. And it is said that this Ambalaṭṭhikārāhulovāda Sutta, delivered by the Buddha to Venerable Rahula when he was young, still as a 7-year-old, Samanera, when he was very young. When we see the contents of the sutta, actually it is a kind of advice for someone to refrain from deliberate lying right? We do lie, or we just, tell lie. And the Buddha said that as a monk, actually, monks always should refrain from telling lies. Telling lies is a very bad practice. Actually, it is not only for monks, for anyone else, as Buddhist followers or non-Buddhist followers or whoever. Telling lies is a bad practice. So, however, in this sutta, actually, it explains that once in the evening, Buddha visited Venerable Rahula, who was living at Ambalaṭṭhika. Ambalaṭṭhika is one of the place in the Rajagaha, in the city of Rajagaha, close to the temple of Bamboo Grove. Have you heard about Temple of Bamboo Grove offered to the Buddha by Kim Bimbisara? And the Venerable Rahula was living there close to the Bamboo Grove in the Ambalaṭṭhika. Actually it was a forest, in this forest which is called Ambalaṭṭhika. Sometime this term Ambalaṭṭhika has been translated into English as mango stone. Mango stone. The stone here means the seed. But if you refer to this word, Amba means of course mango, Lattika means the sapling or the small plant, small tree. So I think that the translation of Ambalaṭṭhika as mango stone is not very correct. And it should be a small mango plant, something like that, if you go with the literal meaning of these terms. And Rahulovāda means, Rahula means, of course, you know, the Venerable Rahula. Ovāda means the advice. So you can translate that the advice to the Venerable Rahula at the mango sapling or mango tree instead of mango, the stone or whatever. So that is the just simple introduction to this sutta, and then we will, the background to the sutta, and then after that we will see the contents of the sutta. So I hope that you have kind of understanding about it. Now, this sutta actually basically dealing with refraining from telling lies. That is why I have, put this statement here, telling lies and the life of a monk. Telling lies and the life of a monk. So I told you that in one evening, the Buddha wanted to visit his son. Actually, at that time, he was just a Samanera, 7-year-old Samanera. And when the Buddha visited that place where Venerable Rahula was living, and Venerable Rahula saw the Buddha was coming towards him. From distance, he saw. And immediately he set up a seat for Buddha to sit down. And also he, last time also whenever we talk about the Seka Sutta, you remember the water container or the water basin in order to, wash one's feet. So it's a custom in India to wash feet when we enter a place. But here, interesting thing is that after Buddha entered the place, maybe it would be not exactly a building, not exactly a building. It could be, it could be an open space, because the sutta explains that even after the Buddha sat on the seat, he washed his feet right? And if the seat goes inside a building, so whenever we wash our feet with water, the water will go everywhere. So according to the Sutta, didn't explain whether it was an open space or inside or whatever, but we can infer that the seat was, set up outside of the monastery or building, maybe under a tree or wherever, because it explains that after sitting on the seat, Buddha washed his feet. So that is the story going there. Then after that, Buddha started to give his talks. Here you can see, I found this photo online. When the Buddha is sitting there and Venerable Rahula just in front of the Buddha, kneeling down in front of the Buddha with a towel or whatever to, wipe the Buddha's feet. All right. So I think one slide went up. Sometime this one, give me one more. Yes. Yeah, like that. The purpose of using similes in Buddhism. Before I go to the contents of the sutta, I want to tell you that because something which is important in Buddhism, actually especially in the Indian tradition. You know that in the past, unlike today, whenever something is taught to someone, especially when someone is giving a talk to someone, if you refer to the religious tradition, most of the time the masters or the teachers, they give talks, teach the Dhamma for the followers. And nowadays we have various other ways or means to study the things. For instance, you can read books, you can listen to radio, you can watch television, or you can even use internet. And there are many ways that we can learn, but in the past only through words, right? Only through words or verbally transmission was possible. Even at that time, there were no written text. Everything, especially the canonical teaching. For instance, if I refer to the teaching of Brahmanism or Hinduism, Hinduism is the oldest religion in this world with records. It is 5,000 years older than 5,000 years. So they also didn't have written text, right? So the knowledge was transmitted from teacher to master, from generation to generation, orally. We call it oral transmission. So in this way, Buddhism also was the same. And then the Buddha and the disciples, actually, they taught the Dhamma to the people or to their own, the students or disciples, using only the words, only verbal transmission. So sometimes, depending on the person's, intellectual capacities, or depending on their, wisdom, and they may get the teaching in different levels. Maybe each and everyone may not understand the teaching in the same way that the other ones do. Because, when we explain something, there are certain people who can understand quickly. And there are some ones who can understand after giving little bit more explanation. or for the fourth category, we have to explain much in detail. The last category, according to Buddhism, they may not get it. Understand? So one day I will teach you about the personality differences in Buddhism, dispositions of among people in according to the Buddhist teaching. So in this way, each and everyone cannot get the same, the knowledge of the teaching, or they can remember, or they cannot understand in the same way that each and everyone, do it. Equally, they cannot get it. So that is why whenever we give talks, need some more explanation. So as a part of teaching in the Indian religions, actually most of the time, the Indian religious masters use similes or parables whenever they give talks. Buddha was one of them. Buddha was a very good, excellent, outstanding speaker, preacher, and he also used the similes very often. If you refer to the Sutta Pitaka, we have so many similes used by the Buddha, even not only by the Buddha, by his disciples as well. So Buddha taught in this way: Upamako me ayam bhikkhave katha attassa viññāpanāya. Because I have given this simile in order to convey the meaning. Yeah, Buddha mentioned like that. Monks, I give this simile for you in this discourse to get the meaning correctly or properly. So according to the Buddha, using similes, actually one can understand it properly. So today, when we refer to the Ambalaṭṭhikārāhulovāda Sutta, you will see how the Buddha used similes, right, in this teaching. And, this first one is found in the Majjhima Nikāya. There is one sutta called Didāvitakka Sutta. In that sutta, we find that explanation by the Buddha. And there is another sutta in the Digha Nikāya, which is called Pāyāsi Rājanya Sutta. Pāyāsi Rājanya Sutta in the Digha Nikāya. So I think it's found in the section number 2 in the Digha Nikāya. So over there was a monk actually, Venerable Kumara Kassapa. Venerable Kumara Kassapa, when he gave a talk to one of the, princes, or he was a vassal king, to that vassal king, Venerable Kumara Kassapa mentioned like that: then, prince, I will give you a simile. Certain wise people get the meaning of what is said by means of parables. So this is very beautiful statement. So this Pāyāsi Rājanya Sutta, delivered by Venerable Kumara Kassapa to Prince Pāyāsi, or we call Pāyāsi Rājanya. And then in this sutta, he used various similes. And then after explaining a certain fact of the Dhamma, Venerable Kumara Kassapa, in order to make it understand to this king easily, make him understand easily. And then the Venerable Kumara Kassapa, and he said that I will use a simile, because certain wise people understand the things very clearly or properly or easily when we use the similes. So those who are studying Buddhism, and this idea would be very interesting and very useful for you. All right. Now, then we will see what the Buddha had the what kind of conversation the Buddha had with Venerable Rahula. So talking to Venerable Rahula, Buddha asked certain questions, and then the Venerable Rahula answered. So now we will go back to the incident, what happened when the Buddha came and sat on the seat. As I explained to you, maybe you remember that after Buddha sat on the seat, he washed his feet. Remember? And the vessel where the water was, right? And a very little water was remaining in the water vessel. And then showing that little water in the container or the basin, the Buddha asked a question from Venerable Rahula. This is the question that he asked. Rahula, do you see the little water left in the water vessel? This is very beautiful. Now you can understand, I told you that Buddha gave this talk to Venerable Rahula when he was young. Actually, depending on his capacity as a young boy to get it. So the Buddha used a very easy, the simile or a parable to teach him, getting a very easy example. So showing that container with less water remaining in it, Buddha asked, do you see that little water in the water vessel? And then the Venerable Rahula said, yes, Venerable Sir, I see it. And then the Buddha tried to compare this little water with the monk who is deliberately telling lies. So you see, it's so beautiful. So then the Buddha said in this way, even so little, Rahula is his recluseship of the one who has no shame to tell deliberate lies. You see? And Buddha now is comparing the little water remaining in the container with the life of a monk who is doing, telling lies deliberately. Buddha said, Rahula, it is same of a recluseship or the monkhood or the monastic life of a monk who is telling lies deliberately. That means actually his monastic life is not worth, little worth. In the same way that the little water remaining in the container. So the monastic life is very important. And one, sacrifice his life for the benefits of the all beings whenever he becomes a monk. So his life should be an exemplary character for the others to follow. As much as possible, the monk should behave in the proper way or the nice way so that people can follow them, because monks are considered as the fields of the merits. After listening to the monks or respecting to the monks or offering to the monks, associating monks, one can make merits, whenever you want to, plant rice, first you have to sow it in the rice field, and then they grow into plants, and finally they will have, rice pods, and then you can get the rice. So in the same way, monks are like rice fields. They are compared to rice fields. So you can get more merit after attending to them or associating them, listening to them, offering to them, like that. So that is why the monk's life is very important. He should understand his responsibilities and his duties and his very monastic life, how it is important. Right? So that is why Buddha said that if any monk, deliberately lying and his life is not worth. Now we will go to the next one. And then the Blessed One threw away that little water in the basin and contained the continued the conversation. And after that, the Buddha, threw away the little water which was in the container, and then asked a question again from Venerable Rahula. He asked like this: Rahula, did you see that little water that was thrown away? Understand? So it's very nice. So the little water was thrown away. And then the Buddha asked, did you see that little water which was thrown away? And then Venerable Rahula, the young one, he answered, yes, Venerable, I saw it. Then Buddha tried to compare the monastic life of the monk who is not having shame with, telling lies, deliberately telling lies. So he compares this life in this way. Thus, Rahula, thrown away is the recluseship of one who has no shame to tell deliberate lies. Yeah. So this is a very important thing, right? If any monk actually tells lies, actually, while telling lies, he throws away his monastic life. He throws away his monastic life. That means actually monks should not tell lies. They should not tell lies. Actually, there is no chance for them to tell lies. Because, when the Buddha started his, teaching, the first thing the Buddha taught to this world was the Four Noble Truths. Four Noble Truths. His teaching is based on the truths. So the Buddhism is based on truths. And there is no chance for, false things or untruths. Do you remember when the monks do chanting? And after each and every sutta, they recite or they chant, Etena saccavajjena sottite hotu sabbe, or hotu tejaya mangalam, or whatever. Etena saccavajjena, by the power of the truth, this truth, because in the chanting suttas we recite the qualities of the triple gem. Actually, they are true words. And then we say, by the power of these true words, may you be free from suffering. May you be free from, illness. And then may you be free from fear and so on. Or may you be blessed with good health, happiness, and, joy. Or may you have victory, or like that. In different phrases, phrases, they have different meaning. So whatever, we understand that Buddhism is based on truth. The very first teaching of the Buddha also talked about the Four Noble Truths. So monks are not allowed to tell lies. And in the Vinaya, there is one rule. If a monk, tells a lie and he violates the small precept, right? It is called pācitya, a kind of small precept that monk is violating. And there is a very big violation. Even he will lose the monastic life if he violate, this rule. That means boasting his, his own practice, saying that he is an arahant, or he's one who attained sotapanna, or sakadagami, or the once return or non-return, or an arahant, or he is one who is having jhana and so on. It's a one kind of precept for a monk to follow. We call parajika. And so monks are not allowed to, talking about their unattained spirituality. Unattained spirituality. So there are a lot of other things also connected with that precept, that Vinaya rule. So the monks always try to should tell the truth. That is very important. So, however, if a monk violates, the precept of telling lies, he may not lose his monastic, status or monastic life. But, however, it is prohibited for monks to, practice telling lies. So, anyway, the Buddha said that thus Rahula thrown away is the recluseship. That means he deliberately throws his monastic life away. Because he knows that monks are not allowed to practice telling lies, and also I am doing it deliberately. If I deliberately tell lies, that means I am throwing my monastic life away. So this is a very important teaching of the Buddha. Now we will go to the next one. Still the story not finished. Then the Blessed One turned that vessel upside down and addressed Venerable Rahul. Now the Buddha turned the vessel upside down, and then he asked a question from Venerable Rahul. Rahul, do you see this vessel turned upside down? And then the Venerable Rahul said, yes, Venerable Sir, I see it. And this is very important. The next, the simile. Thus, Rahul, turned upside down is the recluseship of one who has no shame to tell deliberate lies. Understand? Actually, the monk can make his life turn upside down. That means make his life empty. Make his life empty if he practices deliberate lie. Deliberate lie. So this is very important thing. As I already explained to you, actually the monk should know that he should not violate the, the precept of telling lies. If, for instance, if I violate the precept of telling lies, and then my monastic life is something turned upside down, somewhat similar to a vessel or something which is turning upside down. That means inside is empty. Inside is empty. So maybe I may, appear like a very good and well-behaved and, well-disciplined monk, but inside it's empty. Inside is empty. So that is why, yes, we have to always try to tell the truth or speak the truth without telling lies. So this is very important thing. So now you may think, oh, it's only for monks, not for us. Of course not. Whenever you observe 5 precepts, the precept number 4, Musāvāda, Veramani, Sikkhapada, Samadhyam, you are also following the Buddha's teaching. You are also following the Dhamma as same as monks. And therefore, as lay Buddhists, of course, you also should be away from telling lies. Telling lies. All right, now we'll go to the next one. Then the Blessed One put the vessel upright and addressed the Venerable Rahula. And then, Rahula, do you see this vessel empty and deserted? And then the Venerable Rahula replied, yes, Venerable Sir. Even so, empty is the recluseship of who has no shame to tell deliberate lie. Right? Sorry. Let me check it, turn upside down. Okay, so whenever the monks, practice this telling lies, and his life is something turned upside down. It is empty. So actually, as a monk, his practice should be based on the truth, And if he practices this telling lies, actually he is making harm for himself, making his life like an empty vessel. Now we will go to the next one. The simile of the royal tusker went to the battlefield. So you know that actually during a battlefield, the horses, the elephants, and the army, a lot of the people with horse carts or with horses, or the elephants and the elephant carts and the army soldiers all go there and fight. I mean, in the previous time, in ancient time. Nowadays, the people have a lot of, the weapons and, all those things like sophisticated weapons. But in the past, there were no such things, only the sword or, the spears and all those things they use. And they ride on, the animals, elephants, and also horses. But nowadays, there are big, war vehicles are there, trucks are there, and even the, warships are there, and the, the planes are there. So, but in the past, only horses and, especially elephants could be used. And among these elephants, the royal tusker, he is the most important one. He's a well-grown royal tusker with, very big tusks, and his body is so big. And whenever he goes to the battlefield and he fights how? The Buddha said that Rahula, the well-grown and trained royal tusker, having gone to the battlefield, would perform with his forefeet, hind feet, the forepart of his body, the hind part of his body, the head, his ears, tusk, and his tail, while protecting his trunk. Yeah, so that's quite nice. Huh? So with the huge body, this tusker, when he enters the battlefield, he uses his tusk. He uses his tusk to, attack the enemies, or the other tusker who is coming from the enemy's side, right? So he, attack that tusker or the people or whoever come to fight against them. And then he used different parts of his body, right? His forepart is body, and the hind part of body, the forelegs and the hind legs and the different parts of his body, and even his tail to get the strength, and his ears to pay attention for the sounds, and like that. So in this way, the tusker fights in the battlefield very hard, but he must protect his trunk, right? And if any damage to the trunk, and then he cannot, attack more. He cannot attack more. So in this way, he tries best in the battlefield to, knock down the enemies. So at this time, and this time, the mahout or this elephant rider, and then he looks at the tusker because he is sitting right on the back of the tusker, so he can observe, and he thinks that, oh, this tusker is fighting very nicely. He uses his all body parts to attack the enemies, and and he tried to protect himself, attacking, and then he thinks that even giving up his life, he has given up his life here. That means bravely he fights without fear. And then he thinks this tusker can do anything that he wants to do. There is nothing this tusker would not do like that. So he has confidence about this tusker, and then he thinks that he is, attacking the enemies very well. And then the Buddha says that no telling lies even for play, comparing to this attack of the tusker. The Buddha said like that, Rahula, just as there is nothing the royal tusker gone to the battlefield could not do with his limbs, large and small, different body parts. In the same manner, there is nothing that could not be done by one who has no shame to tell deliberate lies. Therefore, one should, therefore, one should train thus. I will not tell lies even for play. So now you may think that what is the the comparison here? Now actually this royal mahout, he observes well that what this tusker is doing. So the Buddha said that this tusker is doing whatever that he wants to do to fight against the enemies. And in the same way, the one who practices deliberate lying can do anything bad, after practicing this, because he doesn't have shame to do bad. Understand? Therefore, you should train thus. I will not tell lies even for play. Right. So the Buddha said that there is nothing that cannot be done by this tusker. And in the same way, the monk, especially the monk who tells lies, can do anything bad without shame for his life. So this is a very bad thing. I mean, if a Buddhist or a monk, tells lies, because it's a kind of cheating of oneself in front of the others. So here, the Buddha, after that, brought a simile again. After, finishing the stories related to this, the life of tusker and also the water vessel, and then Buddha goes to another simile. Now this is simile number 3. right? In the series of simile. And then the Buddha talked to Rahula in this way. Rahula, what is the purpose of mirror? Yes. We use mirror, right? At each and everyone's home, you have mirror on the walls, or on the table, dressing table, or in your bathroom, or wherever. Even the ladies, they always carry the small mirror with them wherever they go out to check their face. So then the Buddha asked Venerable Rahula, what is the purpose of a mirror? Then the Venerable Rahula answered, Venerable Sir, for the purpose of reflection. You see, it's very beautiful. The purpose of reflection, to check yourself. Whether any dot is here and anything is wrong, or your hair is combed properly, and all these the decorative things, your flowers or whatever that you have, whether you have enough cream or enough powder, or whatever. So in order to check yourself, and also to cover whatever the spots, or all those things, and to appear beautiful, to appear beautiful. So then the Buddha, talking to Venerable Rahula, said like that, Rahula, in the same manner, after repeated reflection, you should do bodily actions, verbal actions, and mental actions. Actually, in the sutta, there are some more information, each and every category explaining your bodily action, verbal action, mental actions, and like that. But I summarize the things here like that. So you use a mirror to check yourself whether there are some mistakes in your face or whatever, anything wrong. In the same way, you have to check, you have to, observe or reflect before you perform your actions, either the physical action, bodily action, or verbal actions, or mental action. Bodily actions mean whatever that you do through your body, or verbal actions mean, of course, what you talk. And sometimes you may tell lies, or you use harsh words, or you just have a lot of frivolous talks, the gossip and slandering, and all those things. We have to refrain from these things, all those wrong words, and and also thinking about the bad things, mental action, how I should refrain, revenge from this and that, how I punish him, what I can do in order to put him down. He is, now in his success. So I want to, pull him down or something like that. People are always like that. So, and they are against the others who are doing, well. Or, of course, who are doing something wrong to you as well. So you try to revenge from them. That is very bad thing. So in this way, physical actions should be, filtered. That means you should first think about it, reflect on the action that you are going to do, and then you have to think whether this is a good action or a bad action or whatever. And the verbal actions also the same, and then mental actions also the same. And then how and why? How to reflect on actions? One should reflect on physical, verbal, and mental actions before doing it, while doing it, and after doing it. So not only just before doing it. Understand? So that is why in Buddhism we say you have to be aware every time. before doing something, while doing something, and also even after doing something. Right? Before doing something, one should think in this way. How? Does it badly affect on me? It here means the action. On others and on both. Right? So this is very important. For instance, if you are going to do any action, and then you have to, sometimes because of your anger, hatred, or deluded mind, or whatever, you immediately, you may take decision. I want to do this one. I know how to, prevent from this one, and how I know how to, punish him or her or whatever. Or I want to do this action. I will do this, and you think about doing it, but because of your deluded mind, you may have such thoughts in you, but you have to be aware of what you are going to do. How? What would be the result if I do this? If I do this action, what would be the result? So, because of that, you have to think whether this action would bring good, bad result for me, whether it bring bad result for me, or bad result for, other, or bad result for both of us, for me and the other party as well. So this is very important. So you are not allowed to do any action which brings bad result for yourself, others, and also for both. And does it not badly affect on me, on others, or on both? And then after that, you have to think whether it does not bring bad effect, the effect. So you think that after I do this, does it not bring bad effect on me, on others, and both of us? Understand? Then the Buddha said, he has to be aware what he is doing and whether that action brings good or bad result for himself, others, or both. He should think about it even after doing that action. Whether, action, what was the result of it for himself, both, and others. So in this way, before you do something, you have to think about it, whether it can bring a bad result for you, for others, and for both. Whether it can not bring bad result for me, for you, for others, and for both. Here, actually, not bad means it bring good result. So in this way, you have to think, if it is bringing bad things for all of us, actually, no. If it is bringing good things, of course, you can do it. In this way, you can do good actions that bring good for you, good for others, and good for both of us. Actually, there are a lot of things related to this also. Sometimes there are certain actions bring bad for the other, but bring good for me. And there are certain actions bring bad for me, bring good for others. And there are certain actions bring bad for both parties and bring good for both parties. So here, the Buddha always emphasized that if there are any action which bring good for both parties, those actions should be done. We call na attabhyabhadaya samvatteya, na parabhyabhadaya samvatteya, na ubhyabhyabhadaya samvatteya. If there are any actions which do not bring bad for myself, for others, and for both of us, and those actions should be done. Understand? Yeah. So this is very important thing that the Buddha explained here. So we can apply this for all the physical, verbal, and mental action. And before doing that, and then while doing also, for instance, sometime because of your misguided thoughts, you may enter to do bad things. But while doing that, you have to be aware on that. If you think that this action is bringing back, okay, I should stop it from here. That is the awareness. That is the Buddhist way. So this is also very important. Now, for instance, if you were doing certain things for some time, but now you think that, of course, I had done bad things, and for 1 year, 2 years, or for in the past. So now, from this time on, I should stop it, right? It's a series of bad things that you are doing. Or while you are doing it now, you have to be aware and stop it. Stop it. That is a very important thing. And even after do it, for instance, you did something, and after doing something, you think that I had done this thing, then this is very bad. So now I cannot do anything to correct it. So from this time on, I want to be a good person. I try to refrain from those bad actions. So this is very important thing. Last time also I explained to you, even being deceived by wrong thoughts, or your anger, delusion, or ignorance, or whatever, hatred, or whatever, you would have done certain bad things in the past. But now still you have time to correct yourself. From this time on, of course, I did bad things in the past, but now from today on, I should do good things. I should refrain from this. And then from today on, I will continue. I will, doing good things and continue it. So this is a very important thing. That's why in Buddhism, we say that you are not late. You are not late. And this is the right time for you to start good things. So Buddhism is not a religion that you let you repent over all your bad actions and suffer on your bad actions. But actually, through these bad actions, we have to learn something. That's why we say that you learn something from your bad things, and then you can be a good person. That is what the Buddha taught here. And thus, having reflected upon what one should do, that is what we should do. You reflected on that, and if it is wrong, what you have done, actually from this time on, you can correct yourself. If you have done good things so far, and now you have to think, I will continue those things. I will do more. I will do more practice. For instance, up to now, you would have done good things, but today you would, a bad thought will come to you, right? And then you have to be very much aware. So far I did good, but how can I do bad, behave badly? So I have to come back to the, correct track, and then I continue. So you have to be away from those wrong thoughts. Right. And, sorry. Oh my God. Wait, some kind of technical problems. Yes. Yes. And now we will see the final admonition of the Buddha to Venerable Rahula. Yes. Yeah, can you see this?
Yes, Bhante.
Okay, thank you. Because something happened. All right. So final admonition to Venerable Rahula. Let's see. The recluses in the past were aware of their actions. The future recluses also will be doing so. That means they also will be aware of their actions. The recluses in the present are aware of their actions. So you too should train thus in this way. How? We mean here we will purify our bodily actions, verbal actions, and mental actions by repeatedly reflecting upon them. Right? This is the very important, advice from the Buddha. So, the monks or the recluses, recluse here mean the monks, basically the monks, or any kind of good monks belong to different other religions, because in India there were so many other religions, Shramanas were there. So then the Buddha mentioned that referring to the past, for instance, past Buddhas, past Arahantas, and the past, good venerable monks, recluses. And they did good in the past. They were aware of their actions. And also future ones also will be the same. Right? And then now, at this moment, what you have to do, actually including all the recluses, should practice good. So, past ones did good. Future ones also will do good. And the present ones also doing good, behaving well. And then what I have to think that I should follow them. I should follow them. And then I have to refrain from doing bad. I have to refrain from doing bad. We will purify our bodily actions, verbal actions, and mental actions by repeatedly reflecting upon them. So this is the advice of the Buddha, the final advice of the Buddha to Venerable Rahula. Actually here, you may think that why the Buddha talk about the past recluses and then the future ones, because Venerable Rahula is very young. So, he should teach him, so that a young one can get the, idea or the teaching properly. So Buddha referred to the past one. It could be past Arahantas or his teachers or whoever. And then the present ones, look at the present monks. And also, the future ones also will be the same. So you also should be like that. So in this way, the Buddha tried to Venerable Rahula to understand the importance of refraining from telling lies. So in the commentary, it says that maybe Venerable Rahula was very young. In the commentary, it says, probably because of his childish actions, because he was a small one, 7-year-old. Maybe he would practice lying or tell lie. So the Buddha is the nature of in order to get the attention of the parents or the teachers or whoever, or in order to get praise, or sometimes in order to hide something. Children always tell lies, right? The commentary says like that because this monk is very young. So because of his young nature, child, the characteristic of a child, he may, fall into this kind of bad action of telling lies. So that is why Buddha emphasized that you should behave in this way and that way. So here actually we end our Dhamma talk, and what I want to tell you that actually telling lies is a very bad thing for us. And in Buddhism it says that if anyone is practicing telling lies, and he can do any kind of bad deed, any kind of bad deeds. Musāvādas jantuno within the paradokas nati papang akarya. Ekam dhammam atitas musāvādas jantuno within the paradokas nati papang akarya. Actually, if anyone is practicing telling lies in this world and also in the next world, there is nothing that he cannot do. That means there is no any bad thing that he cannot do. That means he can do any kind of bad deed. He can do any kind of bad deeds if anyone is practicing telling lies. So that is why, in Buddhism, within this your everyday precept called within the Panchasila, there is a precept for you to follow. I refrain from telling lies, because as a true practitioner, we are following to realize the final truth. Buddhism is a religion which brings you to the final truth. So you yourself also should be a person who follows the truth, who practices the truth, and based on the truth. Understand? This is very important, so you can have a self-confidence about yourself. The Buddhism meaning also the enlightened religion. The both you are following this teaching for the final enlightenment as wise person. So wise people, actually, we refrain from telling lies. So we are always advising our students and the friends and whoever we are associating with. So that is why this telling lies is a bad thing, and practicing, telling the truth or speaking the truth is very important practice for all of us. Okay, I'm sorry, today certain slides went up and down. Yeah, so sometimes it may disturb you. Anyway, as usual, today also, Sister Kanchana, of course, suggested me to continue teaching for 2 hours, 2 hours or 1.5 hours earlier. And then I said that, of course, no, people may feel boring if I talk a long time. The Buddha also asked us to, not to give a very long talk, not to give very short talk, but follow the middle path. One day, a Buddha, after listening to a very long talk of a monk, actually he was, out of the building at that time. Buddha went somewhere and he came at that time. One monk was giving a talk. And then the Buddha was standing outside for a long time and he couldn't come in, because if Buddha thought that if I enter the Dhamma hall while Dhamma, this Dhamma talk was giving, and it is not good, and I'm disturbing the people, the audience. So he, stayed outside for a long time, and then the Buddha had back pain. And after, this monk finished the Dhamma talk, the Buddha entered the hall. And then he thought, oh yes, it is a very nice talk. I listened to it, but I feel that it is quite long, too long. So make your Dhamma talk precisely, depending on the situation, time. So thank you very much, friends. If you have any question, we will try to answer. Thank you for our Facebook, participants at this moment, and also those who are connected with us with Zoom.
Yes, thank you very much, Bhante, for the interesting, very, very interesting talk. In fact, we have quite a number of questions already posted online, but we only have 5 minutes, maybe. So we'll see if we can try to cover as many as possible.
And next day we will start Q&A session first. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So maybe what I'll do is I'll share my screen first.
My one I will leave already done.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So the very first question we have on Facebook from Sister Seokwa, she mentioned, can I better understand why Buddha uses similes or parables to convey the message that he intended? Would it not be better to communicate in a direct way so that the listener could get the message straight away rather than trying to guess it? Thank you, Bhante.
Oh my goodness. Yes, of course. I already explained to you that actually using similes or parables or whatever for certain cases and for certain people, the thing that which is explained, right, would be easier to get. It is for easy digest, right? And so that is why we use the similes and parables. Yeah, because in the phrase that I used, it mentioned that actually it used the word certain wise people, not all, certain wise people get the meaning through the similes and parables, right? And also Buddha mentioned that I use it in order to convey the meaning easily for the people, right? For instance, like this, in the Dhammapada, you know that the first two pair of the Dhammapada, in the Dhammapada, each and everyone knows the meaning of that Manopubbangama Dhamma. You know the meaning that it says that if you do bad things, the consequences of it, this bad action, will follow you in the same way the wheel of the cart follows you, or the wheel follows the what you call this, hoofs of the oxen, right? So that means you know that oxen or the ox is drawing a heavy load, and then the wheel is turning just behind his legs, and sometimes this wheel go through the holes or uneven places, the stones or whatever, when the oxen drags the cart. So then, it's he is having a heavy load. At the same time, when the wheels are going through this kind of difficult, the places, holes or the, muddy places, or, the stone or uneven places on the roads, like on the gravel roads and so on, he gets pain a lot. So here, the Buddha actually used the simile so that people can get the meaning easily. If we say that, the bad thing, the result of your bad karma or actions will follow you, so you don't do bad things, right? If we stop from there, and then okay, yeah, you will get it. But if the parable comes to support this idea, actually you have more feeling and understanding about it. Of course, yes, like that, right? So that is why the similes are always here. Very clearly Buddha mentioned that I use the simile to give the meaning for the listeners so that they can get the meaning easily. And the other quotation says that actually certain people understand the things correctly, properly, nicely, and easily with the support of the similes. That is it. Yeah. Yeah. So of course, directly the things are, for instance, in the Abhidhamma, you don't have similes there. No parables. It just talk about the, talk to the point and explaining the, the mind and the mental factors and so on, so on. But in the teaching, because I told you that earlier, there was only one way to get the, the teaching, to listen, only through listening to the Dhamma. That is why in certain suttas you may see, repeatedly Buddha say the same thing again and again and again. Even in those explanations, you may see the repetition. Because only our ears will support us to get the meaning. Or sometimes, some people may not get the, the sound, the voice clearly and need to explain it again and again. Right? So it was not easy in the past to talk to a huge crowd. And then need to give some, supportive elements of the stories so that they can get the meaning clearly. That is why there are similes or parables, not only in Buddhism, in other religions as well. Okay, I hope that you get the meaning, the answer.
Yeah. Yes, thank you very much, Bhante.
Yes.
Okay, because of time concern, maybe we'll go look at one last question. Okay.
Yes.
We actually have quite a number of questions here.
Yeah. I will try to answer through Facebook if I can, or otherwise next day. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I want to give a talk on the suttas.
Okay.
Sutta and Sutta Pitaka, and what is the history of all those, the words and all that. And one day I will give a short talk, and during that time I try to, deal with your questions.
Okay. Right. This one. Okay. From Facebook, Sister Shokwa actually mentioned, if white lies were used or even deliberate lies used to save one or other lives, is this accepted, and if not, how to reverse the bad act?
Yes, while I was giving the talk, this idea came to me, but I thought that I may even waste time, have more time consuming if I talk about this. Yes, of course, it depending on the situation. For certain cases, in order not to cheat someone in a bad way. Of course, we can have this white lies. It doesn't mean the Buddhism encourage people to do so, but considering the situation. For instance, while I am in my room or at my temple or wherever, if someone was, chasing someone with a sword to kill him, he would come to the temple, right? And then, I see him, and this person, he goes into the temple and hides somewhere. Understand? And then that man who is having, the sword or whatever, he wants to kill this person or punish this one or hit him or whatever, he comes and he would come and ask me, Venerable, did you see a man who came on this way or whatever? Then I would say, I didn't see. Yeah, because my intention is to save that. So for certain practical aspects, we have to use our wisdom as well. and you have to think about what is the situation at this moment, and then in those cases, yes, not to cheat this person with bad thoughts, but in order to save that person's life, even though I said that, no, and it doesn't make any problem for that man or both of them. Actually, it is good for everyone. That's why. So in such cases, of course, we can, yeah, say this kind of white lies. No harm for anyone. But it brings a kind of good result. Yeah, in such cases, of course, don't worry. Yes.
I guess end of the day is up to the intentions, right?
Yeah, that's right. The intention, of course. Intention is the most important. Our intention.
Yes.
Right? Yes. And
okay. Right. Maybe just to for the benefit of the rest of the viewers on Zoom as well as for Facebook, maybe what we'll do is we'll try to send Bhante the questions that have been posted, so that maybe during your next talk, maybe you can just address some of these questions first before we start with the next talk as well.
Sure. Yes, I will try. I will try.
Okay, so because of time constraint, I think we'll proceed on to the transference of merits.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry that actually the time that we are having is not like exactly talking to you in front of you, but this online, and it's make some, really I didn't want to use these slides, but thinking that, with the suggestions of Brother Chintaka and so on, I thought that better to use these slides. So sometimes, it's a little bit, time consuming. However, yes, never mind. I think it is good for you if I use these slides, and you can get some, you can read them later. I will send it to Sister Kanchana, and she will, share it with you. So, of course, now,
yes.
Yeah.
Shall we proceed with the transference of the merits?
Of course, can. Yes, yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, Sādhu.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Now we have to share the merit with the others as well.
Okay.
So, at this moment, you accumulate a lot of merits. Actually, now we are going to transfer merit for all the departed relatives. May all the departed relatives, including Bhante Jnanarama, rejoice in this merit, and may they have all the spiritual benefits for their samsaric journey. Finally, may all of them attain the bliss of Nirvana. Say Sādhu.
Sādhu.
By the power of the merit that you acquired today, actually connecting people and doing a lot of things, and it is not easy. And our media team, you are doing very good job and outstanding job. And thank you very much for your all these support and also your activities that you are doing. So I bless all of you and all the people who joined today online, and those who will even participate with this activity in future. And also the Bhantes, if Bhantes are there, Bhante Ananda, and Bhante Ratanasiri. Yes. So I bless all of you to have good health, happiness, longevity, and prosperity. And I wish that Bhante Ananda will come back very soon. Yeah, actually, in this time, it's not like the other times, and we have to think about the situation as well in case if certain things change, and he will face some difficulties in coming here. So yesterday also I suggested him to come back here and continue Vassa here. Yeah.
We hope so too.
Yes. Okay, then I wish you all the very best and good luck, and may all your good wishes and aspirations come true. Finally, may all of you attain the bliss of Nirvana. Say Sadhu, Sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Now we transfer merit for all the divine beings. Recite together with me.
Akasata Chandawimala Deva Naga Mahitika
Nyantang Anumoditva
Chiram Rakantu Loka Sasanam
Akasata
Chandawimala Deva Naga Mahitika Nyantam Anumoditva Chiram Rakantu Sasanam
Akasata Bhummata Devanaga Mahitika Nyantam Anumoditva Chiram Rakantu Param. Okay.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
See you in the next week.
Thank you, Bhante.
Happy National Day. May Singapore prosper, and also may all of us be free from all this pandemic and all these problems, and may everyone be well and happy. Happy National Day to all of you. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you to all the media. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante.
so much.
Thank you so much, Bhante.
Okay, then bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Take care, Bhante.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay.